Okay, so the next question in your Germany paper is the why might the authors have a different opinion? Remember, they're generally giving two different opinions on a subject, a topic, and this one is another 5-minute. So four marker, beg your pardon, not 4 paragraphs, 1 paragraph. Don't forget that. And again, this is asking you this time to focus on who made the interpretations. Think about perhaps when they were made and why, and then explain why they have these different opinions. Yeah? So that's what we're focusing on here. Again, 4 marks up for grabs here, and we've got to compare the two of them. So we're going to go back to our interpretations, and we're going to go to interpretation A. And we're going to think about our what, when, who, why. What, when, who, why. And it is really these final ones here that I'm going to focus on for the moment, because they're the most important too. So let's take a look at who made interpretation A. So it's adapted from an interview by Gregor Zimmer, an American teacher who worked in schools in Germany between 1928 and 1939. He was also a journalist and recalls visiting a school in the 1930s. So why does Zimmer form his view, or Zimmer form his view on the Nazis? Well, this is a bit of a tricky one. So don't panic too much about getting this one right. It's just modelling you that process. So for this, okay, what is he? Well, he's an American teacher. Yeah? And that's important. He formed his view from a school visit. Yeah? And actually, if we go to this, not that you need to worry about too much about what it says, it does actually say that he visited a principal of the school, so the person in charge, the head teacher of a school there, yeah? So he did this from a school visit in the 1930s. Yeah? So that's important. And also he's a journalist. Yeah? So he is forming this view from the view of a teacher. Yeah? Somebody who worked in schools, somebody who visited schools frequently, it seems. Let's take a look at B then, shall we? So this is different. This is adapted from an autobiography by Ayla McKee. Yeah? She was a member of the German Girls' League and recalled her experiences as a young woman in Nazi Germany. So who made it? Ayla McKee. Yeah? And why? It's about her experiences as a young woman. She is a woman. She has experienced this very differently than a male teacher. Yes? So let's move on to this then and think about the question itself. Because the question itself is asking you, why might the authors of interpretation A and B have different experiences, right? Why might they have, there's a typo here, why might they have different views? That's what it should say. Why do they have different views about women in Nazi Germany, or the experiences of women in Nazi Germany? When you get your actual paper, it will be typed correctly. Anyway, the authors may have different views because, well, let's think about it. They have different experiences in Nazi Germany. Yeah? So that's what I've done. I've literally latched on to who made it and why, and that's what I've summarised in that first sentence. The author of interpretation A, so remember, was a teacher in German schools in the 1930s. They may form their view because they delivered the German curriculum, the Nazi curriculum, and formed their view as someone who worked in a school. Yeah? So he is forming this view as a professional. He is forming this view as somebody who was in a school, who worked as a teacher. Yeah? It's just the same as a school, just like here at Poland. My experience as a teacher is different than your experience as a student. Thank God for that. However, interpretation B, and remember, take a look at that. However, we are comparing here. It goes back to that whereas thing again. So that's important. That language there is absolutely crucial because what you're doing is you're directly comparing A and B. Interpretation B was written by Isla McKee, a young woman and member of the German Girls League. Now, I've not done anything in terms of revision. All I've done is literally latched on to what it says here, and I can get myself some marks. It's just about thinking about these things. So why does she reach those conclusions? Remember, she has a more negative view. So why does she talk about the problem of teenage pregnancy, for example? Well, because she was a young woman who actually experienced the treatment of women in Nazi Germany. So she is able to speak candidly, that means honestly, about how Nazis treated her and her peers. Because she talks about teenage pregnancy. She doesn't say that she got pregnant, but no doubt from her interpretation, she's clearly saying that, guess what? Lots of young women who were friends with me, who I hung around with, went to the same clubs as, they had problems of teenage pregnancy. So take a look. I'm going to get my fancy pencil again, even though I need a pen. 4 marks. 4 out of 4 easily there. And that's what we're thinking about. And it only took me about 5 minutes or so. Now, it's easy for me, of course, I'm a teacher, but it's the techers. That's what you're thinking about. All of this is built on that caption. We talked about in question 1 how we're not interested in the caption. Question 2 is all about the caption. It's all about who made it and why are they forming these different experiences or different interpretations about what things were like. So that is a summary of how you answer question 2.